Hey, how's it going, everybody? Michael Lamar here from Wall Street IO, the #1 backtesting platform for swing traders, with a quick update for you on Apple. Right now, we've had a little bit of a pullback. Last week, I mentioned this over-under area, right, at about 169, and that the stock was basically showing a little slowing momentum in here. However, Monday, we got a kickstart really strong and broke out above that level. We basically tagged the 175 and a half, and since then we basically have pulled back now to about 170. We actually went below 170, but ended up closing above that level. So here in the candlestick, you can kind of see the last week's price action. These two topping tails, Monday's gap up and then break above that over under area, which kind of reinvigorated a new nice little move in Apple, and then the 3 days here of a little softening and pulling back. Now, currently, as long as we can stay above this 169 area, I think we're sideways up. If we start to break below this area, I think it's very likely we'll kind of start to pull back a little bit. We've got a couple levels here to keep an eye on. One, if we can stay above 169, there's a very likely chance that we could float back up to about 175. That's about $5 above. Below that level, I'm looking at currently about 164. Below that, I'm looking at 160, and then we still have a gap to fill. Not quite sure if it's going to come all the way down here, but 154. Now, with this move up, I ended up rolling up my calls. I'm now short the 180 calls. I got a nice little credit for the roll. Moved it out a few weeks, and I'll discuss that a little bit more in our meetup tomorrow. But I am now short the 180 calls, which is pretty good. I was really happy with this move up that we had in the stock, and currently we are in a bearish payday cycle. Now, it's important to remember the context here. Context is always so decisive that, yeah, we're in a bearish payday cycle, but hey, the MACD, right? The MACD is still bullish. So what does that mean when a MACD is bullish, but we're in a bearish payday cycle? It simply means that if you try to short Apple or trying to short Apple, it's a counter trend trade, right? Because essentially Apple, on the short term, at least for this year, is actually in an uptrend. We've been making higher highs and higher lows. You can kind of see that coming across here. What that means is technically the stock's in an uptrend. Now, I still think that we're in a longer-term rounded bottom. It's going to take probably several months to play out. However, we've had some nice strength, and I think the covered call strategy is still pretty good. This time of year, let's open up our back test for payday cycles. Make sure that stays neutral for us for our seasonality. This time of year is normally pretty good for the stock. February, March, usually pretty good. Usually a little bit of a slowdown in April, and then May's usually really good. So that's kind of what I'm thinking over the next few months. But remember, I don't like to take seasonality in a vacuum. However, if the MACD stays bullish for February and March, and if we continue to have really great bullish payday cycles, then that means you're a lot safer to stay long the stock. Okay. I've currently got about 300 shares of Apple, and I've been selling covered calls against them, and that's been working. It's a much smaller position than I normally take during really bullish times of the year, like, last May here when we had, a bullish payday cycle and a really strong MACD, and we were in a seasonally good month. Again, July and August right here, great payday cycles, really bullish MACD, and a seasonally bullish time of the year. In these times, a 3,000 delta is not uncommon for me. So you can kind of think like 300 delta with my 300 shares is about 1/10 the size of a normal, really big position when the stock is really shredding to the upside. So right now, I'm keeping an eye again on the top side, right around 175. This level kind of intersects with the top of this channel fairly well. If we can't get back above this area, maybe we can press a little bit more. But that's kind of what I'm showing right now.